that's it. It's brand new. We just fixed everything. Oh, perfect. We are back with Motorcyclist Ran When Parked and MC Garage production. Last time we were here working on the XS650, we pulled it out, we got it running. It was very exciting. We had dust, we had sparks, we had spills, we had mouse turds, and you know what? They're back. You can't keep them away. Once they get their scent on it, I think they want to come back. Love getting old stuff running. It's my favorite thing in the world. Now it runs when parked. I did ride it, but a few things came to light, and one of those was a slipping clutch. We're not 100% happy with the carburation. The brakes were terrible. There's lots of things to work on, and what we want to do now is make it a daily rider. So we have a list. I might make another list, which is a surefire way to miss something because you have two lists. You can see we said bleed front brake, which I didn't do last time. We got tires and tubes, which I have tires and tubes. Balance the wheels, that's pretty fancy, but actually at least balancing the front wheels is not a bad idea. While we have it off, we'll check the wheel bearings. We're gonna check the swing arm bushings. Clutch okay, clutch not okay. Clutch is not okay, it slipped a lot. I'm gonna start making a list of other things we're gonna hit. This is part 2, check brake pads. These might be kind of greasy. I was gonna buy pads, but I have an RD 350 parts bike or project sitting over there. I could get the pads off of that if I needed them, so I'm saving the 30 bucks. We got a solid state voltage regulator rectifier. This has a mechanical regulator, and I have personally had one of those fail and run like 19 volts. It is working, but how long is it working? I don't know. So we're gonna just nip it in the bud. What are we gonna do first? We'll pull the tires and tubes, and then we can have a look at the caliper and the brake pads. We made a to-do list last time, and we got that done right away because it was right here. We just made another to-do list. We're gonna check that off because we're making progress. Okay, let's go. I'll try to do it and see if I can hurt myself. I can already feel that it seems like a no-hoper, but before I do that, one thing I have not done is check the swing arm bushings. Makes a big difference in how good the bike feels. So what you do is you grab your frame rail, and you grab the rear tire, ow, and then you get stabbed by a piece of wire brush that somehow got stuck in the tire. And you go like this, and then you feel too much slop. It's not horrible, but it ain't great either. That's a problem for a future mark. We'll put that way down here. Let's get the rear wheel off. Oh, yeah! Ah, okay, that only hurt a little. It's actually better to, oh yeah, see now you can really feel the clunk. Like I said, future mark problem. Look at this, huh? It's for your big nuts. Guess what, it's tight. So one thing I discovered in the last video was it's very easy to take the seat off, and I forgot about that before I got started. He says it's easy to take, there we go. See how easy that was? That was easy. So we get that out of the way. So we started with a brand new battery, and I want to keep it that way. And this has essentially been stored for more than a month. I rode it a little bit, but anytime I parked it, put it back on the battery tender. So we're tip top, green light over there. Everything's good to go. It's got a nice long cord. I didn't have to use an extension cord or anything to keep it good. In case we do a lot of cranking like we did last time. I also have a backup with the jump box. So this is a huge number of amps, more than we would ever need, 1500 amps. I can hook this up to the battery if we deplete it by leaving the light on or just constantly cranking it. Should be good. We used it a couple times last time. Who knows what's gonna happen. All right, she's loose. You shouldn't have to hit this too hard, but use something softer than the axle. Oh yeah. At least it's greasy. That's awesome. Oh. All right, spacer, make note. You want those to go back where they came from. This will give us also a chance to check the rear brake because I haven't ever looked at it because the front brake was not working particularly well. Chain's actually in pretty good shape. It's a diamond, it's an American chain. Set her free, let's go. Oh yeah, we have a motorcycle lift. If I had done this in the first place, I would have noticed the brake rod holding the wheel on. Come on, buddy. So I just discovered that the minimum working pressure for that ram is about 50 pounds. This is what I was talking about. There's this brake rod and I'm like trying to pull the wheel out. I just don't work on these every day. Who does? Somebody. Conveniently, someone chopped the rear fender. Kind of bummed at first, but now that I'm taking this wheel off, I can just kind of roll it out, which may not have been the case because the old fender, they come way down in the back. Good job, bobber guy. Well, the linings are great and there's only a minor amount of corrosion in here. We'll clean that up, but I don't have to do anything with the drum, I don't think. I'll lubricate the cam. We'll do something to it, make it nice. And then let's look at the drum. It's pretty good. We'll clean it up. Ooh, wheel bearings. So those feel really nice. That's nice and smooth. and the sprocket doesn't look too bad. We'll clean that up. Next up, let out the air. Well, these tires, looking at the DOT number, could be from 2005. It looks like the 6th week of 2005. I think that was a while back now. Hard to remember. Oh, this is going to be fun. Breaking the bead. We're getting the bead broken because there's a well in the center of the wheel where the beads will go that'll allow us to lever it off. On a nicer bike, I'd probably do this on cardboard or set a towel down. And I probably should do that anyway, because why would we make it worse? That nut on the valve stem, greatest debate in the world. Do we use the nut? Do we tighten the nut? Do we leave the nut a little bit off of the rim? Oh boy. So what I did was lever the bead over each side of the rim. So I levered this bead this way, and I levered this bead this way. I sprayed it with a weak solution of soapy water, and you kind of rock the wheel out so the soapy water just lubricates it, and then you can just push the tire off. Doing this stuff by hand always takes a little bit of muscle. And she's free. It's had moisture. See all this where it's real rusty? It'll never be perfect, but we're gonna get in there with some kind of mild abrasive. I mean, back in the day, you know, my tool set was like a broken screwdriver and a toothbrush, but you just keep doing jobs, and every time you do a job, you pick up another tool. So this is like a kind of nylon-ish or something, and so we're gonna see how well it works. That's pretty nice. I think we'll stick with it. You make love to the wheel. You know, you make sure the wheel's perfect because it's so important, especially on a tubeless. You want to have perfect seating and no slipping and no leaking. Luckily we have a tube because this thing's thrashed. This is something that I would eventually replace. I might try it out for a little while, but if I were doing this forever, I would put a new rim on it. If I can manage not to take a finger off, I could do both sides at once. These spoke nipples need to rotate if I'm going to turn any spoke nipple to adjust the tension of the spokes. And while you have the wheel like this, it's a good thing to do. Lubricate it, so I'm going to just hit it real good. You can get them from the outside too. Put a drop of oil on the threaded part of the spoke. I have a workbench over there. I guess I could get off the floor, but I always end up back on the ground. Rim's bare, it's clean. I'm gonna put a new rim strip on it. Brand new tube. This is Dunlop tube. It's nice and heavy duty. It's going in a Dunlop Gold Seal K70. So this is a period correct tire, currently made, current compounds. Looks right and has about the right amount of performance. You can put more modern tires and get maybe more grip and a little bit different feeling out of it, but I sort of like the look, and I've run these on a zillion different vintage bikes of my own. We want to partially inflate the tube. I just like to put a little bit of air in it to give it a little shape so I'm less likely to pinch it. Just a little bit of shape. All right, look at the inside of the tire. And you want a perfectly smooth tire. You get some baby powder on here to kind of lubricate the tire and the tube. This happens to be Yamaha spray tire lube. It puts a nice thin film on and you don't end up with pools of liquid. You can use soapy water, just don't use too much because you don't want moisture inside the rim. We muscled the tire on, we didn't pinch it, inflated it. See what happens when we put it on the balancer. Okay, so I did leave the weight on here and I have not cleaned the wheel and, you know, stuff I might otherwise do if I were doing a restoration, like polish this hub. I'm trying to resist cleaning it hardly at all. I'll clean the sprocket. And I will wipe the wheel down, but I'm not gonna polish anything. I left the weight on. Sometimes, you know, go ahead and do that. You can see it's the low spot, so I'm gonna pop it off. So let's just use the stem as a reference and we'll just let go of it. That's pretty heavy looking. Well, we can fix it. We'll use our wheel weights and fix it. So obviously, gravity, heavy spot, put it on light spot, roughly. Yep. Yeah, I think that's pretty awesome. Okay, balanced, we're good. So I'll just put these weights on. I'll clean the rim real well so that the stick has something to stick to that's nice and clean. And we'll move on to the front. Tire one, mounted. All right, we gave it about an hour. We'll just check the pressure, make sure it hasn't changed, and we're good to go. So it's holding air, clean inside the brake before we reassemble. And the sprocket's actually in pretty good shape. It's a 34 and the teeth, they're not hooked, looking pretty solid setup. Well, I'm gonna clean this axle. So yeah, just we're gonna tidy this up, re-grease this. Not going crazy, but just tidy this up a little. And then we'll get into the brake drum. Just wanna put a little bit of grease. Okay, we're going in. In position, spacer left, perfect seal. We're gonna leave the arm off and this arm off until the wheel's positioned. Okay. She's home. I'm putting the brake arm back on. Here's the actuating arm that I'm gonna step on with my foot. So what I'm trying to do is position this so that we have adjustment and that the leverage looks good. I'm gonna go 1, spline closer, and then I'll slide the barrel in. So we can just sneak it in, that's promising. I'm gonna say I might have nailed it. And then we'll throw the adjuster on. We'll first see turning threads. It's my hobby. Should be just about right. I think I got lucky. So I think we got the brake arm just so. What we're looking for is for it to spin freely, which it was, but the throw is nice and short. So now we're gonna tighten the axle and make sure the chain's in adjustment. We'll count it's like 2 1/4 hash marks over here. Yeah, it's basically straight, wheel straight, according to the hash marks, which are notoriously off. It's gone 36,000 miles using the hash marks to adjust the chain, so I think we're all right. What we're looking for is a torque value for the rear axle, which should be 50 foot-pounds or something. I was like, oh, I'll look in the XS1B, but this is the year before. This is 71. It had a drum brake, so it's totally different. I'm gonna have to guess. It's over 100, just a little over 100, 108. Okay, click, and final check. Spins like a dream. That seems perfect. 10 and 10. That was on our list for last time. Number 1.5 was find the 10mm socket. But this isn't a socket. All right, that ain't going nowhere. Okay, rear wheel's dialed, and I'm gonna spin the bike around. Why is that? It shouldn't whiz necessarily, but I think somebody put that on kind of wrong. And it is not super tight. I did put the wheel in on the last video, but sort of not in a very thorough kind of way. Sorry for being a squirrel brain. But we're gonna put our loose fitting hitch pin back in our rear axle over here. Oh, sure. That'll pass tech. Boy, you know, I'm kind of frustrated with our progress because it took a lot longer than I thought. It says tires, tubes. So I'm gonna say rear tire. We'll just assume tubes. This is front tire. Sorry about the penmanship, but look, I got something done. Oh, hand tight. Okay, captain safety on the job. We could lift this with the lift. Remember how we have a lift? Somebody remind me not to work on the ground. Same diameter hole as the back, that's awesome. All right. Oh, don't break the speedo cable, come on. Wow, it's coming off the disc. That's all very interesting. Okay, we should have done this when we weren't holding up the whole tire and the wheel. Come on. Ooh, don't break that, okay. That could use grease, a little kind of wormy gear in there. We'll clean and grease that before we put it in. And we'll just make note that we just have to get these in the right spot. This drives the speedometer. Ooh, it's another nice wheel bearing. Happy about that. Don't you think we ought to replace that? I do. We'll check the date, but this thing is absolutely smoked. Let's let that pressure out, see if because we might have to actually take these fender bolts off to get this stupid wheel out. We won't have that problem with the skinnier tires. The factory sizes are what we're putting on. I think it's a 325 at the front and a 350 at the rear. We do need to get the air out. We're just gonna do it. Come on, buddy. Okay, that helped. It just took some of the tension off. And do I need to pull the caliper? No. Okay. All right, wheel off. I kind of want to look at the pads because of the age of the pads. And they may have fork oil on them is the other thing that is crossing my mind. But that's actually spinning pretty nice. There we go. I was worried the pads might have a little oil on them, but they look great. And there's these little T, that's kind of how you put them in because they sort of drop in to the caliper in a way that's not very modern. But they're dry as a bone. They're not shiny at all, so they haven't been oiled up by leaking fork oil. We're gonna clean the disc with it. Good thing I don't have a pot of oil down there. The bearing feels good, it's spinning freely. We're good to go. I'll just clean the disc. Go, let's do the tire. Oh yeah, that's like butter. Like butter. Poke a hole in it. Hate to sacrifice you, buddy, but you weren't going back in anyways. Did give the wheel the same kind of wire wheel treatment. I managed to also wire wheel my thumb a little bit. Pretty cool. So all the spokes on the front wheel they feel pretty uniformly tight, but spokes are good, hub looks good. Bearings are nice and smooth. As the rears, I think they were done recently. They look pretty new. When I say recently, I mean a really long time ago, but with low miles since they were installed. Get our 19-inch rim strip. You want really good quality tubes. Something you've heard the name of, preferably. If you can't afford it and you just gotta get some tubes, do your best. Oh. Safety works. You're supposed to check that periodically. I planned that mostly. Nope. These are the weights that were on there with the tire that was all cracked, you know, that we just took off. The wheel is balanced, and I didn't have to add or subtract any weight. Maybe it's going to come down. Maybe we'll do a little bit, but we are like right there. Oh, my back thanks me. Everything is nice and smooth. It's satisfying when you don't have to struggle tightening everything. So I'm just going to get grease in this little guy, and then a quick schmear because this is where the oil seal goes. Let's get that wheel in place. And this should just sneak right. Oh, see how great that is? Because it's not as wide as the other one. We don't have to force it. If the fender were in place, it would be holding the wheel for me. We're right there. Okay, that's pretty good. That's a big improvement. I don't know what was out of whack. Brake's working pretty good. I feel confident we have like a solid basis for adventure. Yeah, fresh tires. I'm gonna do the unthinkable, and this is a valve core I took out of the old tube. I have no idea how old it is, but it looks pretty good and I wanna keep it. But I'm not gonna keep another one of these because I got ones in that shop, I got ones in this shop, we got them at the office, so I'm gonna throw it away. I was really happy thinking about my tires as I was going to bed, as we all do. The tires held air overnight, so thank God. We're gonna get into the brakes. So we're gonna see what horrors are in the brake reservoir, see what color that stuff is and how bad or good it looks. I'm actually remembering to change the level of my workbench so that I can both have the brake reservoir a little too high and the bleed nipple a little too low. Okay, we're gonna pull the brake reservoir. Brake fluid's nasty business. You don't wanna get it on your paint. I hate how it smells and I don't like touching it. But what I like to do is bulb syringe, just to show you could do it with something that's like $2 at the auto parts store. Bulb syringe, squeeze her in, and then, yeah. It just pulls it right out. And then very carefully, we'll put her on in here, let it drip. Turn it sideways, let it stop, get it back in. And we're gonna take every ounce out. It's actually really clean in there. I'm excited. It does have a braided steel brake line. It's cooked like bacon. Outside of the sheathing, the plastic cover is like fried. And now the spill hazard is the brake fluid that I just put in that cup. The lid says .3, brake fluid only. So we're gonna use .4, it's fine. And I'll just get this lid off someday. Yeah, here we go. So what we're doing here is starting fresh. So I partly fill it. I'm gonna work the lever and pull the fluid out the bottom. I'm gonna bleed them the conventional way. I'll just squeeze the lever or I'll use my vacuum pump. I'm just gonna crack, I hope, that bleeder nipple that looks really corroded. We did it. Okay, so I cracked it and then I snugged it back up so it wouldn't leak. This is our valve, and we're gonna be the human check valve. We're only gonna let the fluid out. Oh, sheesh. The return is quite vigorous, so let's clean that up. So it just shot out. Sometimes, yeah, you gotta be slow. This is one of those times. And this time for sure, very slowly, we're pushing the fluid out by pulling the brake lever smoothly. And then once we get to the end of travel, we close the valve so that it doesn't suck air back in the caliper. Rinse and repeat. I just saw some debris come out, so that's probably a good thing. So we're taking her down pretty low. This is a brand new lint-free microfiber towel. And so I'm okay going in the reservoir, and it's making it shiny, beautiful aluminum. See, there's like chunks inside of there. We gotta get rid of that. And so this rubber thing, you just take it out. There's a plastic insert under it and stuff. I'm gonna take this whole thing and I'm gonna wash it in hot soapy water and then dry the daylights out of it, because you don't want any moisture, no water inside your brake fluid, because brake fluid absorbs it and then it finds its way usually to the caliper and it just corrodes the daylights out of everything. I think we guessed right, pretty close anyway. Nothing came out, which was good. Isn't that nice? Yeah. Okay, lever's great. All up, this wasn't too bad. I've had it be much darker than that, and there's really no debris in it, so we're in great shape on brakes, man. I am stoked. Brakes, done. Pads are great. Shoes in the drum, great, or good anyways. Front tire, check. Balance wheels, check. Remember how easy that one was? Because I left the weights on it? That was rad. Wheel bearings, they were nice, check. Clutch, okay, no. We'll just make it official. Brake pads, I wanted to look at those. They were great. Not oily, not oily. Oh, bleed front brake. See, we gotta clean this list up. So we're gonna start fresh after this. 10mm socket, never find it, ever. 1, reg rec. 2, we're gonna do the whole clutch. Yep. We'll fix the charging, and then I think we'll just start riding it, road testing it, see how it goes. Yeah, See these spots right here? This is brake fluid for about 5 minutes on this paint. It already took color. You gotta be ready. Bucket of water, spray bottle, get it off your paint. Try to not get it on there in the first place. So this is a universal brand. I have to figure out the wires to terminate on the harness that will go into this regulator rectifier. This has a brushed alternator. We'll see the length of the brushes. Hopefully I don't have to change them. So we got to find a way to mount it. It's finned because it dissipates heat because we're charging and making electricity, which is energy, which has to be converted into something like smoke, at least on my British equipment. You know, we're going to want to disconnect this mightily charged battery. Okay. Disconnecting the negative, because I can do this. Remember what happened in the last video? If you haven't seen that, go check it out. Oh, I love batteries so much. Oh yeah, I remember that. We never got all the nuts out. Just for good measure, we'll throw her back on the smart charger. Tend our battery with the battery tender. The dumb chargers don't know when to stop charging. Smart chargers do. This one doesn't arc if you touch the ends together. I still can't knowingly do it. I just have to resist. Japanese industrial standard screwdriver, different than Phillips. So that handy cover pops off. We have alternator and timing marks. But this is where one of the brushes runs. And then these are the timing marks down here that we would use a strobe light to see. Let's figure out the wiring. These are probably the ones that are coming off of the alternator. The black is our ground and the red is our hot. Oh, someone's put a fuse in there. That's handy. That's great. Thanks, guys. You can probably just stick the unit right in here. So not 100% sure what we're looking at, but one of these is probably a mechanical voltage regulator, and it'll have points in it that vibrate. And you can imagine after 35 years that maybe those get tired of doing that, or they get corrosion on them, and then bam! This is the rectifier. Oh, that's right. Look, it says 6 and 6. Somebody didn't proofread. Those are the points I was talking about that go bzzz, and they vibrate and they control the outcome, and then some of it might go to ground. I took this tank off because I wanted to see the color of wires wherever possible so I can determine what the units are. Okay, those are horn wires. Oh boy, lots going on. They usually terminate a bunch of stuff inside the headlight and then they run all the rest of it back. Charging. We have black, we have red, and we have the 3 whites. They're not doing me a ton of favors here with this manual because normally you'd have a full wiring diagram. Yep, I'm gonna burn some brain cells on this one. You know, when we got it running the last time, everything was working. And as I get more confused by this, I think, you know, it was working. It's so tempting to leave it, but that's when I'm riding Santa Barbara to go get barbecue. You just boil the acid out of your battery and burn out all your light bulbs and your bike dies. We'll check the colors and see if it just plugs right in. Okay, these will be our little diodes in there. And this is the peg that grounds everything. I'll save it, I'll use it on something else. Let's look at our colors and see if they match. The black, the red, and the 3 whites match. I hope it's not a coincidence. That's good. And then we'll figure out these, the green and the brown. This could be the green and the brown. It's just what's the black for? The way this is terminated would appear to me to be opposite of what it needs to be. I think it said plug and play, even though it came with this handy terminating kit, which I can re-terminate it and match colors up, and then it'll have the safety. I'm gonna cut it and re-terminate it. Always scary. Looks like the taillight's been rewired. Help me remember that the red goes to yellow and the black goes to blue. Resist urge to rewire bike. Okay, someone's been in here. We're going back in. Oh, what am I even doing? Unwinding this racked tape. Plug and play. There's all kinds of stuff going on here. Black that comes here that then goes back. I'm like recombing the loom so that the wires are nicely organized. In the spirit of overthinking it and over-restoring it, I'm gonna actually clean the wires to make them sparkle. I'll reinsulate this black wire. Right, this is gonna be so deluxe. I hope I'm not wiring it wrong. Fresh, like new. Ugh. So let's just terminate our wires. We've crimped on our new connectors. They're all roughly in the same direction. Oh, and that's the end of that. That's in there. Click, click, click. So we just have to troubleshoot why I wouldn't have a black connection. Or do we just try it and see what happens? Boy, that could be a setback or it could be a massive time saver. Gambling. I don't know. See how it plugs in. Doesn't. Okay, there's our answer. The black wire on the old unit and the harness side are a ground, which is not needed on our unit. Okay, so excited that there's this little ground right here. So I can just take the black and get a nice eyelet and put it right next to here, and we're golden. No reason not to. I don't. Well, the tall one's gripping that insulation, and then the copper one's just smooshed under there, tight as could be. That's why I always pull them. The other ones on the harness were good. We're just checking acreage here for where we want to put our regulator rectifier. I'm going to see if I can just bolt it to this plate with the existing metal. I don't have a huge selection of hardware here. So I'll make an apology to Future Mark for using SAE, maybe, to think that I'm replacing something that works. Now we'll put the unit, we'll hang it on that one. There are no rules here. This is my quote engineering. So if I want to let that fall on the ground, I can. Come on, get up in there. That's pretty good. The bolt looks like I have a little bit of wiggle room. All right, I think we managed not to drill a hole in the unit, which is great. We're a little close to the edge of the flange, which is moderately not great, but decent anyway. I think it's a pretty tidy install. We'll have to test it now. So we'll get all this plugged in, and I'll drop the battery back in. Might as well connect all the wires. We don't want to just melt part of the harness. Let's melt the whole thing. Positive. Factory Yamaha insulating cardboard. We're going to fire it up, see what happens. What would be a good idea is before I put a couple gallons of gasoline on it, is to turn it on with the gasoline in another room. Tail light, yes. At least it's on. And then the headlight switch. Headlights working. Anybody smell smoke yet? I'm just touching the hot wires because if they were jammed, there was something causing resistance, there would be heat right away. I think we're good. Top job. Okay, I feel confident we get the tank now. Put the tank on, get some gas flowing, let's do it. All right, gasoline, eh? Choke's on, it's gonna be loud. Volts, no smoke. It's even making 14 volts down here. This is really good. That means the alternator's in good shape. Yeah. Yeah, we got to do a little more carb tuning, but that's a total victory. List, yeah, list. Reg rec, tip top. We are going to check the brushes. That's what we're going to do. We'll disconnect the battery and we'll check the brushes in the alternator. We need those to be long enough to keep generating power. Let's get in there. I'm just pulling the brush out. Has a little spring and then that wire, and then it's long. It looks pretty good. So it's over ½ inch. I think it's a minimum's a ¼ inch. So this is a good brush. I'm gonna guess the other one's the same, but we'll figure out how to get that out. Hi, who made that hot? It's been cold for so long working on it that I never expect anything to be hot. Also in good shape. So hopefully I haven't disturbed some magic of how it was assembled. Remember how I moved the compressor earlier? I was tired of the breeze, so I just shut the door. Let's get into the clutch, because we're in a good spot. We could consult the manual or not. You just take things apart till it comes apart. Does that make sense? Undo this front guy. Oh. Well, for 100 miles, we're taking out some darkness. Every time I started on the bench, more debris shakes out of the bike. Yeah, there's already some gunge in there. There's some more crush in that washer, I'm sure of it. Not supposed to reuse them, probably won't. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll sneak it on there when the camera's looking at something else. You won't know. I hope that does it, because there is the rear that kind of is more under the gearbox. We'll just do it this way. And if you're a former XS650 tech and I'm really doing it wrong, you can find me in the comments. That's snug. Just need leverage and stiffness. You're treading a fine line. I am. I want the pan over here enough to catch the oil, but I also don't want it to catch my bolts. I'm gonna make a map. I'll just do a rough sketch. That's the oil filter hole. That's good reference. And there's a bolt right there. There's one above it. There's one here. Okay, so this one is there, and I just shook, and it fits in nice. There we go. Any dripping? We have contained the oil this entire operation so far. We'll have to wind that back up. There's a fan of silicone over where the feed is. That's kind of what you worry about. That stuff just plugs oil galleys and stuff. So we're going to endeavor to not have that problem. This is where the gasket sealing surface is. And then this is a bead on the inside. This is the stuff that kills you, man. Had to get Mr. Big here. Every one of them, bang, first hit. Clutch pack. Looks pretty good. Well, look at the steels. I have a full pack for this, so I wonder why this was slipping. Oh no. We need a basket, dude. We're done. We'll probably just use the whole unit that we bought, plus my new throw-out bearing. So we're gonna marinate the salad, so to speak. Got new fiber plates. Normally you wanna put some oil on them for longer than we're going to. I'm gonna do it now, and we're gonna mess around with the clutch. I got some more things to disassemble. Oh yeah, good, it is the right oil. And you just spread them out a little bit. We don't want them to be totally stacked up. Just get oil on the whole thing, and they don't call it a wet clutch for nothing. Ah! Now I'm needing a clutch holding tool, which I don't have. I'm like, I don't need to buy the clutch tool, and I should have bought the clutch holding tool because they're not very expensive. I'm gonna do the next best thing and make my own. So I have this screwdriver that I've had since I was a teenager, kind of brutalized it over the years. So what I did is ground it so it's shiny, and I'm gonna weld it to these metal plates. I hope it's not for nothing. Yeah, no problem. Woo, she was bright. Lightning, master of lightning. Awesome. Okay, we'll get the other side. Try to keep your shop clean, folks. Don't set your rags on fire. Keep your paper towels as close to the arc as possible. Maybe I'll get some oil on these. It's not bad. Okay. I'll either remake the tool or file that one to fit better. So when we torque it on, we can hold it and get the correct torque value. But taking it off, I just needed to keep it steady. And as you see, it just zipped right off of there. Throw-out bearing. Did you know I got a new one? We'll clean this up, and then we'll take off this inner washer. This is the race. Okay, so this is the used basket that I bought. I'm gonna clean it up. The bosses look really good. I couldn't find any new hubs, so I had to go with used. And then this has looks like a steel wired into it, which is probably a later model. This is an early clutch, I think. I mean, who knows what it is, to be honest. I made my own clutch holding tool because when I was ordering some springs and stuff, I just thought I would save the $13 so I could use 45 minutes of time at the shop. But you know, we have the pride of a job moderately well done. I think we have our clutch sorted out, and now we need to clean. I don't want to put the new parts on here and then scrape this gasket. One side of the gasket was covered with silicone, like too much, like big pieces of rubber silicone, right? Which can be bad because it can go into oil journals and stuff. So I tend not to use that. Usually with the Japanese stuff, the castings are so nice. You just put the gasket on and then you torque it and it doesn't leak. This has been glued on, I don't know with what, and I was hoping it would just start to peel off. I'm gonna try some solvent because it is sticky and this gasket is rock hard and it's very hard to scrape. I could be here forever doing this. It's so frustrating. Still scraping. Scraping. Still scraping. We've done a pretty good job cleaning the cases. This is the oil feed, so I want to make sure that's clean. We're going to try and pull the spring back with this bundle of wire, and then it has to be basically kind of like that. Let's see if we can knock this little tab spring into its spot. Leverage. I think that's home. This lines up. That's where I just put a little witness mark there, right in line with the clamping area. This is looking good, and then we turn it out, and then this is turning the clutch, and so you can see this moving. Now we can do the clutch. This is a used clutch I got for a very good price, and it's in good shape. It's a later clutch. I discovered that there are a few versions of clutch out there. We're gonna replace it as a unit. Got to marinate the clutch plenty long because we did so much work to clean the gaskets. So that goes there, and he goes here. And then it's the throw-out bearing, which we have a new one. highly detailed clutch assembly video so far. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, done. Now I'm gonna build the clutch pack up. We're just alternating frictions and steels. We're getting the oil dripping that I expected, and we'll get the pressure plate on top, and then we'll put the springs in, and we'll have a brand new, ready to roll clutch. All right, pressure plate. As I contemplate often when I'm doing this, how many times have I done this? I really feel really happy about the clutch. My Kickstarter is good. All right, let's button her back up. Sparky plugs. I have looked at enough plugs to be okay with doing it this way. At least the threads feel decent. Oil. Don't forget the oil. See, we put it over there. Fill sump. Let's go in with something gungy just to get all the big slop off. I don't expect this thing to be bone dry all the time when I'm riding it. I'm sure it can be pretty darn good. Yeah, let's get the solvent on there. It's so gooey, it sticks to your fingers forever. Okay. All right, I think I'll put the tank on. I will. I won't even think. Ow! Ha! So we're getting the side cover back on, and we just want to make sure we're not chafing any wires. What's the most annoying sound in the world? All that work to make the wiring look clean, only to put a side cover over it. You know what, I'm gonna go put the battery vent hose on. I've left it off this entire time because the battery's been in and out so many times, and I put it on the battery tender over there. And if I only had left off that side cover, putting the vent hose on would have been a lot easier. It is nice of them to put this battery vent on the side right above the starter solenoid so that if it did puke acid, it would do it on a very key electrical component. I'm gonna put a light zip tie. We'll just use one of these Q black ones. I don't need to strangle it. I just want to hold it in place so it doesn't pop up over the swing arm again. It's a good route. Oh, well, there goes winning the Concours. Thought that might happen, and I didn't stop it from happening. And it's not making that screechy business sound so much. Anybody know where the seat is? Out of harm's way. Let's see what happens here. What do you think? Complete motorcycle? Spark plugs, torqued, capped. I guess we should check the timing. Did I have a plan? Motor oil. I didn't really ever notice that before, but that's battery acid etching the chrome off, so the old vent must have come a little bit farther down, convincing me to spend the extra money to get a sealed battery. Let's see what that did. That was like half of this. All right, off the lift we go. Oh yeah. The battery was tip top. I just checked the charging system, all good. We've had the battery tender Junior 800 running on this thing in between takes while it's parked. I'm gonna hook it up and get it charging the battery. It's great for storage. Particularly on an old bike, I like to keep the battery tip-top because I don't want the charging system to work too hard. This has a, you know, an upgraded charging system, but it's still the old alternator. So keeping the battery tip-top, best way to go. We do that with our Junior 800 in this case. In the unlikely or possibly likely event that we have a trouble on the road, we also have the 1500 amp 12 volt vehicle jump starter. 1500 amps is more than enough for getting the old Yamaha going, but I also carry it in my pickup truck. You can charge cameras, phones, cigarette lighter chargers. There's USB, USB-C, and of course the jump cables. These plug in, and then it's got the positive and negative big alligators stick on the battery terminals. Anything you need to do, you can do it here with this this equipment. I want to thank Deltran for sponsoring the video. We couldn't do without them. Really glad to have them on board. If you're going to store, keep your battery going, save you a lot of money. I have a battery tender that I've had for probably 20 something years, and also a multi-station one because we got lots of junk in the other place, and you know, you don't want to replace batteries all the time. So we just try to keep all that stuff tip top. Thanks again for sponsoring. Yeah, that brake, wow, she's really something. Give me some whiplash. Yeah. Ice cold, but we'll run better with gas. It's probably going to idle higher when it warms up, I'm guessing. So we'll have to do some field carb adjustment. I'm still getting that splatchy business over here. I guess the real test is what happens if I click it into gear. Oh, right there. I think we're fine. All right. Well, what do you think? Suit up, take a ride. Yeah. Oh man, awesome. I should have let it idle because it will. It's really, truly kind of roadworthy, if I could say that out loud without endangering myself for future rides, but I got to adjust the rear brake a little more. It's just acting like a motorcycle. Shifts pretty good. I mean, being brand new, clutch is awesome. I like the working. I really like the tires. They're Dunlop K70s. I did get the skinnier front, but its steer is really nice. There is no damping whatsoever, none. There's some friction, you know, but there's just no oil left. I don't know if there's ever oil in the rears, but it's really nice. It's just running good. I've been kickstarting it and electric start. It's just been a really satisfying project. Easy in some ways, a little challenging in others, but it's good. It's just riding like a motorcycle. Ran when parked, runs while it's riding on the road. It's registered, it's insured. Should we take this on a long ride, couple hundred miles, see what we can get out of it? I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go 60, maybe not faster, because it vibrates pretty good. More than a Triumph, it seems like, but it's a goer. Ran when parked.